Hey guys, Island Turtle here. Welcome to BOMISpirit. Happy Monday. This is going to be the weekly intuitive astrology reading for July 8th to July 14th. Hope you guys are doing amazing. If you're catching us after the fact, we do these live every Monday. But yeah, hi guys, welcome. I like to wait a couple minutes for people to climb into the chat. And obviously these will be timestamped if you're watching these later as well, okay? Hey guys, excited about this live. Yeah, this is a nice week. Well, all perspective, but yes, I think it's a really, really good week. Hold on a second. How do I? Are you not letting me? What is going on? I don't know if like has anyone else been having problems with chats on like other lives that they've been hanging out on? Meh. Okay, no, I think it's okay now. I think it's okay. But hi, hey guys. We're coming out of an interesting weekend, are we not? With the new moon in Cancer, and then we had that portal day. I feel like there's been a deep cleaning that a lot of us have been going through, and I think most of us have been feeling that through our solar plexus chakras, our digestive system, our nervous system, because both of those are linked too, actually. And that's just kind of par for the course. And I was wondering too how much of that was because of the portal day and what's going to happen between 7/7 and leading up to August 19th. I think it was on Patreon that I got that download, or we had it collectively as a group, that there's something about July 7th and August 19th, like connecting the two in terms of like making big changes on your timeline and things like that. And then, something else is coming to my awareness that's really important actually for the next couple weeks, and we'll talk about it. But Mars, Uranus, and Algol, the fixed star, we'll definitely get into it. I'm sure a lot of people have a lot to say about that one, but I missed your live yesterday, but so resonated. Looking into the vagus nerve. Okay, cool. The whole relationship stuff, just wow, I could not agree more. Oh, relationships, relationships. This is live. Hi, Sugar Pop. Yes, this is live. This is absolutely live. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's Cancer season. First of all, it's Cancer season, but also relationships are a huge part of our human existence. We can't really escape that, right? Oh my God. Yes, hi. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. All right, so it's been a couple minutes, so I'm going to do a little timestamp and we'll get into the overview. Now, a lot of what I'm going to talk about um, is more about really important days this week. You're a Cancer rising. Yes, I'm a Cancer rising. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Anyway, a lot of what I'm going to talk about this week are some important days because we have a lot. We have a lot. There's so much to cover, even just day by day. And so it's going to be interesting to see how we're just going to go about this. For those who like to take notes, have your notebook ready. Because we're gonna talk about some stuff. I also may do an astrology talk later on Patreon. So for those who are wondering, I did do an update over there as far as what I'm gonna be offering now for the next few months, because I'm kind of phasing some stuff in and out. Just depends on how things play out for the next few months. So if you've been wanting to be a patron, things are updated and very clear over there now. But so I may do that, depends on where my energy's at. But let's go ahead and talk about it. I feel like I need a new timestamp now because I got a little sidetracked. Okay, yeah, new timestamp. All right. So a couple exciting things this week. Tomorrow, Jupiter will be exact sextile the North Node. It's also on the 2024 astrology calendar. So if you guys have that, it should be on there. And if you want it, links are below for that as well. I'm going to get started on the 2025 one pretty soon. But that's a really, really important day. I mean, that's a super, super lucky day. Jupiter and Gemini, between the confidence, the optimism, the intuition, like the amplified intuition at that, and also just luck, because Jupiter just be like that. Working with North Node in a way where it's opening doors like that. When I tuned into it, it's just like anything can happen. Anything can happen. Surprises left and right, doors opening left and right. Of course, it's going to come with you putting in effort, right? I think if you sit around in your house all day, probably nothing's really going to happen, right? You actually have to put some energy out there into the sphere for things to actually come back to you, but really, really lucky aspect. And again, I'll talk more about it later. And then on July 11th, we have Venus finally moving into Leo. I'm sure all this Cancer energy for some people has been a lot. That Leo energy will lighten things up a little bit and also bring a little bit more vitality, which I think all of us are wanting as well. And then on July 12th, we also have Venus in Leo opposing Pluto. July 12th is going to be a funky day. Like, overall, I would say this is a really positive week, a really exciting, uplifted, unexpected surprise, fun kind of week for the most part. For the most part. But that Venus opposition to Pluto, and there's some Lilith activity with Venus too on that day. It's almost like the 12th is going to start this like shadowy Venus energy. You don't have to be overcome by it, obviously. Hold on one second, guys. Give me one second. Um, okay. Sorry. All right. Trying not to get too distracted here. But the July 12th will start a little bit of like shadowy Venus energy. So just be mindful of that. And again, we'll talk more about it. July 10th also is really important. But there's a grand water trine on that day that's going to help just the entirety of the week. But again, we will get into it. So those are just the couple days that I wanted to mention, which is almost like every day this week there's something. The 9th, the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. 4 out of 7 days. That's a lot. That's a lot. Overall, I would say that there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of relationships. Now, that can manifest in a lot of different ways. It depends on where you're at, but we have a lot of assistance in almost feeling more ease with wanting to nurture people and wanting to mend things with people where it can be mended and where it needs to be released or let go or forgiveness needs to be had. Not needs to, but would benefit from being had. That can also take place. So it just depends on where you're at with your relationships. There is still this continued like working on triggers and things like that, if that's something that's arising for you. Again, that's probably only going to happen if you have a lot of unhealed things or things that you are working through. And so just know that if you do get triggered around this time, it's just to help you work through it. But specifically in terms of like power dynamics, control, authority, those are actually going to improve a lot this week. So if you've been struggling to work through your own stuff around that, this week you'll probably come full circle on that. Or if there are relationships that need mending where that's been a problem, it's time to talk about it, or an easier time to talk about it. So that's great. We also have just a huge like shattering of things, which as I was getting into that, I was like, nice. It was just making me excited. Almost like there's like kind of like a pinata. That's why I put it in the title, right? It's the benefit of allowing things to break, certain things, right? Like your own beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, rules were coming up, like to break some rules would probably be beneficial at this time. Also breaking out of your own comfort zone, also part of that as well. But yeah, breaking through limitations. Also, I was feeling some shadow work with that, and I'm pretty sure that has algal tied into it. And again, we'll talk about it. But that shadow work, sorry, I'm starting trying to stay grounded. I can just feel a lot of like pulling on my energy. So I'm just like, just give me a second. The shadow work in terms of breaking, I do believe this is in terms of algal, where we have been in this phase of, I want to say like maybe a couple weeks now, but really this last week was intense. But we've been in this phase of really facing our own inner demons and some really deeply rooted unhealed things for those where that applies. It's not for everybody, but this is also a week where it can be easier for us to metaphorically cut the heads off our own monsters, right? Cut the heads off our own demons, so to speak. So if you've been struggling with any emotional stuff, any shadow work, any relationship stuff, all of that is well aspected to improve this week drastically. Now, there is also benefit to creative expression and cultivation and breaking into new things, new skills, new environments, new social experiences, and all of that is well aspected to be supportive for any future endeavors, but also to just be fun, honestly, just to be fun and fulfilling. And also there's some support in terms of our own personal passions and also callings in terms of that as well. Okay. All right. I think that's mostly everything as far as like paraphrasing, but let's go ahead and get into the actual astrology here. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. All right. So this first section this is where we're going to have an easier time moving on and letting things go, and also getting into the energy of forgiveness. But it's going to be playing off of some energies we've been in for weeks. So you've heard me talk about this before if you've seen any of my other videos. Saturn in Pisces, retrograding at 19 degrees, and trine Pallas Athena in Scorpio, 19 degrees. Saturn is also still opposing Juno in Virgo, about 19 to 21 degrees this week. So that's something we've been experiencing for weeks. It's just part of the energy of Saturn teaching us to let go, Saturn teaching us that we can get to the root of things, we can get to the heart of the truth of things that we're attached to and things that are holding us back, and allowing ourselves to let go, let God, essentially, and establish deeper faith of also embracing the unknown. So that is still there. But what's very cool is we do have Sun in Cancer supporting Pallas Athena, supporting Juno, and supporting Trine. Super exciting. And this is what's creating that grand water trine. So the Sun is trine Saturn and Pallas Athena. So we have Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer, all three working together at that 19-degree point. So just keep that in mind. 19 degrees for this particular energy is going to be really important in your charts. So if you have any water placements at that 19 degrees specifically, you're going to really feel this, especially if you have it like on your moon or your rising or your Chiron, or like maybe even like your North Node and South Node. You're just going to feel that like emotional wave, but in a way that almost is like a superpower. And I'll explain. So the grand water trine will be happening on July 10th, again at that 19 degrees. So it's kind of like when we have grand trines, not just water, but grand trines, it's like taking three celestial bodies and it's almost bringing out like the best of them, like in their placements in that respective sign. So Sun in Cancer is this just innate motivation and desire and satisfaction with nurturing people and nurturing others and getting into that energy of healing and heart-based connections and wanting to connect with people. So the more like higher evolved expression of that. Saturn and Pisces, I was getting forgiveness. Like the forgiveness side of Saturn Pisces is going to come through really heavy this week. I shouldn't say heavy, just really strong this week. Again, Saturn does teach letting go. Saturn does teach, in Pisces anyway, teaches letting go and emotional detachment and being more disciplined with matters of your soul, like spiritual practices, your emotional and mental health, and your self-care, right? Things like that. That's still there, but the forgiveness factor seems really strong with this. And then Pallas Athena in Scorpio, when I tuned into that, it felt like it was more about getting to the root of the truth this week with Pallas Athena in Scorpio, because it's been in Scorpio for a hot minute. It's actually going direct this week as well. But especially accounting for the psyche is how I wrote that when I was feeling it out. Like it's almost the superpower of being able to show up with other people and have compassion, have empathy, hear them out, want to lay everything out on the table, hoping they lay everything out on the table, and actually being able to improve your relationships or actually practice forgiveness where need be. But obviously that's a two-way street. Right? So if one person's not willing, they're not willing. But if everyone's willing, there could be a lot of just beautiful experiences this week in terms of relationships and improving on in all of that stuff. Okay. Now again, that grand water trine is happening July 10th. So I would really pay attention to that day. And especially if you have prominent water, but look at all of your water houses, like where you have Cancer, where you have Pisces, where you have Scorpio. There may be an event or a relationship that connects the three. So I'm trying to think of an example. I'm trying to think of an example. And okay, thank you. They're clarifying. While relationships will be a huge part of this, it doesn't have to be. It can even be relationship with self. Because I was just thinking about Cancer risings just as an example, just using my own chart. So that would be first house, fifth house, and ninth house. To me, that's all about getting to the root of self expansion. I'm struggling with my words because I did not sleep last night. Oh, I was begging for sleep last night, so forgive me if I'm stumbling over my words or if I'm a little slow. But first house, fifth house, ninth house, yeah, to me, that would be all about personal expansion and self-discovery and wanting to get into new things that like inspire, things that inspire, and definitely new experiences with that first house energy as well. right? So that doesn't even have to involve other people, but it can, right? So that's just an example of that. Now we do have some energy that's moving from beginning of the week to end of the week with this little section that I'm talking about. What I'm about to say, I would say is not as important as this grand water trine. That grand water trine is strong, and all of the aspects around that grand water trine are present throughout the entirety of the week. What I'm about to talk about are fleeting energies. So just keep that in mind as I share that with you. In the beginning of the week, we're going to have a little bit more support in closing things out that need to be closed out and also cultivating things very practically. Excuse me. And then as we get to the end of the week, there's a little bit of crunchy energy. And there's some other aspects that are going to be in relation to that, like the Venus opposing Pluto stuff that I'm going to get into. But this is all around Mercury. Mercury is going to be square Pallas Athena. Oh, and also the sun is square Chiron and Eris. Chiron and Eris are still working together in Aries. That's like, there's a little bit of vengeance flavor there, which I'll talk about later too. But that's at the end of the week. And it just feels like starting to get a little forceful or starting to get a little almost like impatient with trying to be heard or trying to get your point across. So if you're going to work anything out with anybody this week, do it at the beginning. Don't do it at the end. Do it at the beginning, especially since there's going to be some shadowy Venus stuff going on at the end of the week, okay? Okay, so as far as this whole section is concerned, again, that 19-degree point is pretty important between Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. Virgo is just as important, but I don't think anything in what I've spoken about is going to be stronger than that grand water trine as far as energy is concerned. So 19 degrees, but if you want to look at a range, 15 to 20 degrees of all the water signs. Okay. All right, let's move into the next section. This is Jupiter with the North Node. We all like a little bit of luck, don't we? I know I do. I definitely appreciate a little luck in the mix. I labeled this luck, confidence, and optimism steers us forward with an assist from fate as well. But Jupiter is in Gemini and is going to be sextile the North Node in Aries, and also will be sextile Vesta in Leo all week. We do have some energy in the beginning of the week that's supporting that with Mercury, but I'll get into that in a minute. But remember, July 9th is when this aspect is strongest. Jupiter sextile the North Node. Again, to reiterate from what I said before, optimism, confidence, luck, and even just your own intuition and instincts, because Jupiter is also kind of rules like spirituality and intuition on a level, is just going to open doors. It's going to open so many doors, but you have to be willing to put in the energy and effort. Like, you got to get out there, right? Gemini is very communicative. Gemini likes to mingle. Gemini likes to learn. Gemini likes to think. Like, you actually have to get in the mix a little bit for this to really show itself and manifest in your life, right? So just know the more you engage with people, the more you stay open to new experiences in particular, you're going to be very surprised at what opportunities might come up out of nowhere. And remember, Jupiter is also luck. And with the North Node, there's also a sense of fate. So that may feel like fated, serendipitous events may be playing out. It may just feel that way. I'm not going to say it's absolutely a yes, but it may feel that way. And even if it feels that way, that's enough to say it's happening, right? So very, very fortunate aspect this week. Now, the assist with Vesta just brings in more support for the things that you're personally passionate about, the things that make you like light up in your life, or what you have a personal calling for or personal mission, if that's how you feel about your life. A lot of like fire and air here, and with that Leo assist, even with Mercury at the beginning of the week. So I'll reference this. At the beginning of the week, Mercury is conjunct Vesta in Leo, and that conjunction is also trine the North Node in Aries and sextile Jupiter in Gemini. So all the Leo, Aries, Gemini energies working together between North Node in Aries, Jupiter, Gemini, and then Vesta, Leo, and in the beginning of the week, Mercury is supporting Vesta. So again, beginning of the week is much more well aspected to be in the mix with people, to talk to people, to get out there, again, trying new things. Also with Leo, there's a creative expression component there and sharing your skills, or at least like I just saw an orb, letting people witness your skills. That's part of that too. That's going to be really nice. So just know that all of that is just working in everyone's favor. So enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Now, as far as where this is going to affect you in your personal houses, which I just felt like, I feel like there's a lot of new people. If you don't know how to look at your houses, it's based off your rising sign. Hold on a second. It's based off your rising sign. So just start there. What about Mars-Uranus conjunction? We're getting there. We're getting there. There's a lot to talk about this week. Like I said, we're just in one of the sections. We're getting there. All right. Now, as far as where all this can be affecting you, how do you know your rising sign? You can use, there's so many different websites and apps now where you can just look up your chart. I use Astro. I like astro.com. Cafe Astrology is not bad, but I used to use that, but I upgraded to Astro. And that's just what I use. But again, there's a lot out there, and it'll tell you, it'll say your rising sign is this, and often it'll also give you just like literally the chart. Astro.com is more for people who are like very used to looking at charts. So if you're really, really new to astrology, I actually would recommend Cafe Astrology because it'll show you like as a range, like your houses. But if you're used to looking at charts, astro.com is fine. But again, if you're beginner, just use Cafe Astrology, okay? Now, for where this is going to be affecting everybody, you could look at a lot of signs when it comes to looking at transits. I mean, because technically with all these celestial bodies, most of our houses are being lit up. But that Gemini with Jupiter and the North Node with Aries is key. So I would say 5 to 10 degrees, Gemini and Aries. If you want to throw Leo in there, it would not be a bad idea. Make sure you know your birth time if you're using rising and houses. Yeah, you do need to know your birth time. There's a whole discussion with that, and this is probably not the video for it. But if you don't know your birth time, there are ways that you can attempt to gauge it or figure it out, but this is not the video for it. But yes, that is where everything's going to be going down. So I would expect like the house for you where you have Aries 5 to 10 degrees is where I think there's going to be a lot of things happening, like sudden opportunities, or just sudden opportunities, honestly, or feeling like there's luck and fate at play in your life. So pay attention to that one, but just know it's supported by Gemini. Almost like the investment is like in the house of Gemini, and then like the consequences of that, the cause and the effect of the cause essentially is coming through Aries, is how that looks to me and how that feels to me. When I'm talking astrology, I give you guys explicit meanings, but I also give you guys my own channeled interpretation, because when I'm writing my notes, I do get channeled messages. And I also am just very intuitive, and I'm a seer and all these other things, right? So that's why I call my readings intuitive astrology based, because it's a mix of both, okay? Also, I've just been at this for a long time. So I know how certain aspects feel to me as far as analyzing words. But yeah, invest in the house of Gemini, 5 to 10 degrees, and look for the effect of your investment, fate, luck, etc., coming through in your house of Aries is what I would say with that. All right, the biggie. This next biggie section, I know somebody was asking about Mars and Uranus, and yeah, we're about to get into it. I'll have to ask my mom because, yeah, I don't know. Okay, let me get back to listening. Let's see, watching you for about 4 years now. Oh, really? Wow. Hi, Cassandra. Well, thank you for the long-term support. I appreciate that. Let's see. Sounds like fun energy. Definitely a way to tell, but another video. Yeah, it's way too much to explain. Way too much. All right, let's get into this. So there's a lot to talk about here because while Mars and Uranus are part of this, there's a lot of other aspects at play that I think are more important. Hold on one second. There we go. Okay. I need more moderators. Okay, let's get into it. So some long-term aspects that we have been dealing with now for weeks. Uranus sextile Neptune, that one is just coming on the scene. And we'll talk about it, but I want to give you guys all the aspects first. Whew, yes, I know, right, Paula? I know. And Neptune in Pisces, also sextile Pluto, retrograding in Aquarius. And Neptune also opposing Lilith, Pluto trine Lilith, and Chiron conjunct Eris, which I already talked about, so I'm not going to really get into that. It's really just, again, those triggers that want to come up, right, in times where we're dealing with unhealed stuff and that stuff is being highlighted. So if you're in that boat, you already know what's happening. You don't need me to really talk about it. But, oh, where to start with this? I guess we'll just start with Algol and Uranus. Let's see. I'll moderate for you. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Um, let me focus on this and then we'll revisit. Especially because I'm running on no sleep. So taking a little bit of more focus for me right now. But let's talk about Algol and Uranus. So a friend of mine sometime in the last week texted me a meme and it had Mars, Uranus, Algol on a tornado and the guy like freaking out in the foreground and it was like, oh, what astrologers will say or something like that. And I kind of laughed a little bit because I knew about the Mars Uranus conjunction, but I didn't realize like, oh yeah, it would be conjunct Algol because of the degrees. And I did miss that initially. But when I leaned into it, it's like this is the thing with astrology. I think people like to use it to catastrophize. I'm just calling a spade a spade. They do. Even historically, astrologers like to really catastrophize, especially when it comes to fixed stars. Now, with Algol, it is considered the most evil star in the sky, or the demon star. But there are always different circumstances to how these energies will manifest. And also, you got to look at like why the energy was labeled the way that it was, right? So Algol is actually associated with Medusa. It sits in the Perseus constellation, if memory serves. And if you don't know the story of Medusa, it's a messed up story. It is. It's all kinds of messed up. It's kind of upsetting if you don't know the story of Medusa. She got a raw deal. Okay, she did. She absolutely did. She was doing her thing, minding her business. She actually was someone who was of service, right? And literally, just because of jealousy, she was turned into this monster. And then because I think it was like literally wasn't it Perseus who killed her? I'm pretty sure that was. I'm pretty sure it was Perseus. If I'm wrong, I'm please mention it here. But Perseus went and killed Medusa to rescue Andromeda or to save Andromeda, but he literally was just assigned the task because Medusa was Medusa and could turn people to stone, but that wasn't her fault. That wasn't her fault. Oh, she was also raped in the process too. Oh, probably, that's a whole thing. But anyway, that's the very short paraphrased version or story of Medusa. Okay. So when it comes to Algol, that star is associated with decapitation and violence and mobs and things like that. It's really poorly aspected, especially if you have it in your chart. But I think I spoke on this like a year or two ago on Patreon. It's like, again, um, you got to look at where these stories are coming from and really what the energy is actually showing you. And it's also a spectrum. Like all of these mythological stories, there's multiple lenses, right? And even different accountings, right? So tuning into Algol, yes, it can bring violence and destruction, but that's not always bad. And that's also something that was coming through this week, especially if it's also working with Mars and Uranus. But let's focus on the Uranus factor first. So with Algol working with Uranus, Uranus likes to shake things up. Uranus likes to break things. Uranus likes to be a catalyst. Uranus likes to be innovative, right? It's not, I wouldn't even say Uranus is malefic. I could see people calling Uranus malefic. I just feel like Uranus is a change agent, which, okay, maybe that is malefic. But anyway, that's not the point. With Uranus working with Algol, it is a breaking out of the barriers. It's breaking out of limitation. It's breaking the rules. But for what really, right? It's Algol represents slaying monsters. That's what it really represents. Does it represent decapitation? Yes, but that's because Medusa was decapitated, right? Does it represent violence? Yes, because Medusa was murdered. And also all of the violence around her whole story, right? So how much of it is violence and destruction just for the sake of it, or violence and destruction for things that need to be slayed, for things that need to be addressed, for things that need to be recognized, right? And Uranus does also like to do that too, especially with it being in Taurus and also just all of the stuff going on globally right now, which I also kind of want to say, just a little bit of a side note. I understand that there's a lot of awful things going on, as there always is. But try not to let that affect you on a day-to-day basis to the point where you're getting so distracted in the external that you're not even paying attention to yourself anymore. So just be mindful of that, okay? So I don't look at it as a bad thing. I actually think more than anything, we might see a lot more like storm activity because Uranus being in Taurus can kick up a lot of that. Like literally earthquakes and hurricanes and things of that nature. So I just heard wrath, of course, rage, wrath, yeah. Um, so I think that that has more to do with it. Uranus and Taurus can also relate to economic changes and changes with currency. That could also be part of it too. We might see some social justice stuff start to, come up more. We might see some more people speaking out more on certain things. And like, that is what it is, right? But when you get Mars in the mix, which Mars is going to start joining Uranus in the middle of the week, it's not going to be exactly conjunct until the 15th. But Mars working with Uranus is a motivation to break out of things. It's not bad. It's actually really, really positive. When you have Mars and Uranus working together, it's like you get this vitality, you get this confidence to be like, you know what? I can do things I've never done before. You know what? I don't have to live by these rules anymore. You know what? I'm gonna go and just do my own thing. Like that's Mars Uranus. That's really, really positive. And with it working with Algol, that's the other thing too that people don't talk about. There actually is a slight positive association with Algol. It is very slight, it is very small, but it is there. And astrologers, have spoken about it, have written about it, where Algol can actually bestow, I don't want to say this, like a heightened spiritual attunement. But to those who are already practicing, to those who already prioritize it, the people that don't give a shit about faith or spirituality, they're probably not going to experience that. But people who are constantly practicing it will experience that with Algol. So I feel like if anything, it's just more about slaying our own demons, to be honest with you, cutting the heads off our own inner monsters or the monsters in our reality and being done with that. And there's a way to do that that is actually very positive and uplifting and empowering versus just destructive to be destructive, right? Obviously use this energy as you will for whatever you will, but that's how I see it. So just wanted to make that clear, okay? But that's the Algol component working with Uranus. And then, of course, I already talked about Mars. But coming back to the other aspects I talked about, with Uranus and Neptune and Pluto, especially, those are more long-term aspects. And Neptune, Pluto's been with us for a bit, but Uranus, Neptune's going to be with us for months. For months, I would say. I don't know exactly, but definitely months. There's big activation energy here. So don't be surprised if you feel like you're going through any sort of consciousness activations, right? Like upper crown energy might be very prominent. There's also going to be a lot of innovative, inspired energy that's coming out of this too, which is only good, right? This also, because Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are all like generational, higher minded, big picture planets, there is also this kind of gift of being able to see through the higher mind and seeing almost like from a bird's eye view of like what doesn't work and what we can do to make things work on an individual level, but also a collective level. So we might see some people like rising to the occasion to bring about invention or innovative ideas as far as how to navigate some things that we're going through in our lives or in the world. So like that sort of deal. That's all amazing. That's all positive to me in my mind. Got a little carried away talking about that. But anyway, I don't know. I guess I get a little, okay, let me rein it in. Let me slow down. Had a little too much coffee, I think. Fatigue and coffee actually don't always make the greatest mix. I've noticed in myself that I've been getting more passionate very easily, and I know that's also some of the energy that's going on right now. So I just felt the need to say that or mention that. But let's move on and talk about Lilith, because Lilith is actually really important this week too. So Lilith in Libra, moving from 0 to 1 degrees, is opposing Neptune this week and trine Pluto. Again, we've been in that for a bit. I'm happy Lilith is finally in Libra because I feel like it actually has like lessened the intensity a smidgen. Not a whole lot, but a smidgen. These positions, while working from an intuition is going to be a good thing with Lilith in this position, it can still bring a little bit of friction. Lilith is going to make us want to prioritize our desires and prioritize really just doing what we want to do to bring more beauty and harmony in our own lives. But then there's going to be this challenge of, hey, you do have to like care about other people. You do have to think about other people. And there's also, thank you, they're bringing up a lot of social justice energy. There's this energy too of like wanting to, I keep getting like a vengeance sort of thing. Wanting to stand up for a cause is what I'm feeling with that, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that, but just make sure you're also balancing that with other things that our priorities and other things that matter. Like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater and like lose yourself in a cause is what I'm getting with that. Interesting. Yeah, that is what I'm getting with that. Yeah, I wrote desire to right the wrongs. Vigilante. I also wrote vigilante. So that's some of the energy we're experiencing throughout the week. Now we do have a little bit of a flow from beginning to end. Now, beginning of the week, Venus is still sextile Uranus, trine Neptune, and also square Chiron and Eris. This energy in the beginning of the week, it's like it is romantic and it is creative and it can lead to even like breakthrough ideas when you're just dealing with people. It does feel really nice, but keep in mind it's just the beginning of the week and also could still be bringing up triggers for people where that applies. But then as Venus moves into Leo, like I mentioned earlier on the 12th, Venus and Leo opposing Pluto and Aquarius. That happens on the 12th. Well, it's exact on the 12th, I should say. But Venus at this point will also be sextile Lilith. And this is also the time where Mars is going to move into that Uranus conjunction, right? The Venus opposing Pluto and sextile Lilith is very shadowy Venus. This can bring an intensity to anything around relationships. So again, beginning of the week, work your stuff out with people, have your fun, all that good stuff. Hold on. That makes me think of a lot of the racial lives on TikTok. Yeah, see, I don't even dive into that reality. I just there's no reason to me anyway. There's no reason to. I just feel like all that would do is just have that permeate my reality, and to what benefit? Like, right? To what benefit? Like, even on YouTube, I've noticed, like, if I'm just like scrolling doing my thing, it's like I get a lot of suggestions for stuff that I have no interest in that are in relation to things like that. Like, people literally just tearing down other groups of people just because. And it's just like, why? Like, this is not constructive at all to consume, you know? But that's just my viewpoint. That's just my viewpoint. Anyway, moving on. So, that shadowy Venus energy, this can amplify anything around relationships, but particularly like things like obsession, codependency, jealousy, lust, things like that. Things that are like the not so pretty things about relationships. And also with Lilith and Venus too, because there's a little bit more of acting out of your primal desires, there can be a tendency to either let that overcome you or even get lost in the fantasy of your desire versus like practically and realistically what's going on. And if you're meeting somebody around this time, and like things can get really hot and heavy very fast, even if you don't really know them. So something else to be mindful of at the end of the week versus the beginning. Beginning of the week, although the whole week is golden, but beginning of the week is definitely easier to traverse and a lot more nicer to enjoy, I would say. Okay? But that's all I have to say about that. Now, as far as where to look in your charts for this, wherever you have Taurus 25 to 29 degrees, that's where Uranus is. That's where Mars is. That's where Algol is, right? So remember, your Taurus is acting this week and even the following week as more of a change agent, breaking out of things that are keeping you too stuck or keeping you in a sense of confinement or rules that you need to break, like things like that, that I think is only positive. Also, I would definitely pay attention to 0 to 5 degrees Aquarius and Libra. You could throw Leo in there too if you want, but 0 to 5 degrees Aquarius, Libra, that's where we have Lilith, that's where we have Pluto, kicking up some of that shadowy energy around Venus. So just be mindful of that. But Aquarius, while Pluto is still kind of acting as this like shadowy enabler around Venus, Pluto and Aquarius is still a powerful placement right now that is helping us to see how to navigate changes or what changes could help us in the long term. So positive there, in my opinion. But that's what I would say about this week. Okay. If you guys feel any inklings to fight this week, just don't. Honestly, just don't. And you might feel it more at the end of the week. Just don't. just enjoy the fun, enjoy the sextile between Jupiter and North Node, enjoy expressing yourself creatively, enjoy, dealing with people who are really meeting you at the heart, enjoy all that stuff. Enjoy all that stuff. That's going to lead to really, really amazing things. You get lost in ego, you get lost in wanting to just fight to fight, you want to get lost in destructive energy just to be destructive. It's not conducive to anything. It's really not. It's really not. I can't stress that enough. I feel like I have to use my discernment, which I know you agree, because there's a person I'm thinking of reconciling with, but I also feel resistant to that idea completely. I mean, everyone's in a different spot. Everyone's in a different spot. Like, I know there's at least one person in particular I would benefit from working things out with. So I've actually been sitting with that myself. But I also know there's plenty of people, no, it's just a no. It's just a no. It's more about letting it go for myself, right? On the other things. Duking it out, just kidding. Yeah. People are already fighting with me over patient care out of their own jealousy and pettiness. I can't go there, no drama needed. I hear you. I was just thinking of reconciling possibility with what was just shared about the beginning of the week, but I'm turning the risk of shadowy, lusty, etc. at the end. That's the thing. It's like, be honest and vulnerable. Like at the beginning of the week, be honest and vulnerable and just come from the heart. Also, don't compromise yourself, but put it all out on the table, right? To get whatever closure you want, to mend whatever you need at the beginning of the week, and just let it be that. And if you want to maintain a relationship with someone, you can maintain it, but just know why you're really trying to mend a relationship. Are you doing it to just practice forgiveness and close certain cycles out, right? Are you doing it for that? Or are you doing it for other reasons that are rooted in more of your carnal desires? And even if that's the case, decide if that's actually right for you or not, because maybe it is and maybe it's not. But yeah, discernment for sure. The title of the video is cute because my sister was just Team Mexico for her beer Olympics and they won. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I labeled it that because between Jupiter sextile North Node and all of the like Uranus activity, there can be a lot of really fun little prizes, but you have to put in the effort, right? So, and some of it is a little bit of a blind faith effort too, just because Saturn and Pisces is at play. And that's kind of what I envisioned when I was writing my notes. Like I saw like a kid like with a blindfold, right? And they're putting in the effort, they're trying, and then what do you get? You get prizes and candy and all that good stuff. You just don't know what you're getting, but you know it's gonna be good. So that's why I labeled it that. But let's go ahead and get into the collective message here. My 4th house in Cancer and mommy issues are arising. Yeah, this Cancer season's doing that. This Cancer season's definitely doing that. Personally, I'm over this week. It's Monday. What do you mean you're over this week? It's Monday. The last month has been enough for me already. It's getting lighter. It is. Like emotionally, things are getting lighter in the next couple days. They are. Like New Moon in Cancer was a lot. I think even like, especially for my water signs, like I know y'all know, it was a lot, but it is getting lighter. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the collective read. Where are we going? Ooh. Like, what decks do we want to work with? Not that one. Ooh. Really? Maybe. That's a maybe. That's a maybe. Pull you guys out. I do use the star codes a lot. I kind of want to use beautiful creatures, actually. Let's do that. Oh, goodness. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to be using a lot of cards today. Oh, yeah, that feels good. That feels good. Okay. So all the decks that I use are linked below, and I have updated them just so you guys are aware of that. I've been experiencing aha moments where I practice forgiveness and it's like an energetic release. I don't feel a need to reach out. Exactly. I think for most people that is just the truth and the reality. that it's more about just letting go in here, you know? Um, there may be instances where it does require actually reaching out and mending things with somebody. And I know for me, there's at least one person I definitely should be doing that with, you know? I need a sandwich to aid the digesting all of this. It's a lot of information. You guys know how it is with me. But let's get started. I'm going to use the Herbal Astrology deck to start for the energy for the week. Any messages or insights for the collective for this week? Any messages or insights for the collective this week? Am I taking this? No. Okay. Any messages or insights for the collective this week? They're really highlighting Aries, which I'm kind of surprised. Well, I guess North Node energy. They're highlighting Aries and they're showing me a fox. Fox to me can be, I'm hearing sniffing, can be a bit of a sly trickster energy. But Fox is very intelligent and very fast acting. Fox to me is actually very Gemini, so maybe that's also why they're bringing up Fox. But yeah, they're showing me a fox and Aries, like the Aries symbol. Instincts are also going to play a huge role in discernment this week. Am I taking these? No. Yeah, instincts are going to play a huge role of discernment because discernment, I think when we hear discernment, sometimes we realize, yes, there's intuition at play with discernment, but there's logic in terms of discernment. But instincts, primal instincts sometimes are underrated. Like your instincts are like embedded in all of us is that like primal animal, like literally our inner animal, right? When we're looking at someone and they do something with their eyes or their body does something, it's like, and we pick up like, oh, something's not right, or they might be doing this, they might be doing that. That's like, those are primal animalistic instincts, like reading someone's face, reading someone's body. There's something about that coming up here too. Am I taking these two? Yes. Oh, nice. We have metamorphosis with, some of these are hard for me to pronounce. Paudarco with metamorphosis, and comfrey with completion. Oh, that feels good. I like that. This feels like forgiveness and release to me. This definitely feels like forgiveness and release. When you're ready. Almost like this is wanting to take place first. And this feels very like internal to me. Yeah, this feels very internal to me. This feels very, very internal to me. It almost has the energy of death, but it feels more celebratory than that. It feels more fiery than that. We have Moon and Pluto associated with this as well. Yeah. There's fire in this. I can feel it. There's fire behind this card. Hold on, what's this fire about? There's a lot of new that's been going on, that's been available. Thank you. There's a lot of new that's been available to be experienced, but you got to want it. There has to be a willingness there. There has to be a willingness. This is why they're mentioning Aries with this, because of the North Node energy. I'm also getting that creative energy too that I was talking about with this week. Can you allow yourself? Yeah. Are you willing? Can you allow yourself? It also has this energy too of like letting loose, almost like letting loose of the things that make us rigid, but it almost feels like the things that are making us rigid are the things that actually are already dead and need to be released. That can be stuck emotions. That can be literally just ways that we hide ourselves. are ways that, thank you, ways that we don't allow ourselves to that we don't allow ourselves to express ourselves is how that's coming through as well. It's like I keep getting like, shake the rigidity out of your body. Shake the rigidity, shake the rigidity. When was the last time you allowed yourself to be silly? When was the last time you allowed yourself to just let your hair down and let loose? When was the last time you allowed yourself to dance? It's like, this is the stuff that's coming up here. It's so crazy. I feel, yeah, I'm getting like, shake it all off. Shake off the rigidity. Shake off the crap. Shake it off. That's literally what I'm hearing. Just give into it. Give into your own fire. Give into new experiences that you are craving to have. Some of you might not want new. I think a lot of us are just feeling it because it's there, right? Yeah. Shake it off. Like, and also I'm getting a lot of stuff about the body. Um, Obviously grounding is always positive. It's always a beneficial thing to do. But I'm getting a lot of stuff about the lower chakras. Like, how are you not in your lower chakras? How are you not even like fully in your body? I just feel resistance. Like, shake off the resistance. Shake it off. If your body's hurting, it's hurting for a reason. If your body is super tight, like, like that, like, it's probably for a reason. Because there's stuff you need to shake off. Yeah. There's stuff you need to shake off and let go. Stop attaching to it. Stop allowing it to be attached to you. This feels fiery and rigorous to me, while this feels like a sigh, like a breath out. Like, that's what this feels like to me. Like, ooh, I've actually allowed myself to shake it off. I've actually allowed myself to let it go. Some of you are still learning how to let go of things properly. And when I say properly, I just mean for yourself. Everyone has their own way of letting go of things, but you got to discover that for yourself. I don't think anyone can tell you what that is for you, you know? Can I get one more for the collective, please, for this week? Oh, thank you, Tiki Booyah. Yeah, please hit the like button if you're enjoying this. Can I get one more for the collective for this week? Nice. Elder with wisdom. Jupiter and Pluto. So just the planets that are on here. We have Moon, Pluto. We have Saturn. The world card energy coming through with Comfrey. And then Jupiter and Pluto. That's a Pluto. Lots of Pluto coming in here. I'm getting health. Something about health. Some of you may be prioritizing your health, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, as a result of this. As a result of this, I'm getting, yeah, thank you. Like, I'm hearing impasse, roadblocks in your own, in terms of your own health. Some of you have been trying to improve your physical, emotional, or mental health, but there have been things that have been getting in the way or making it hard for you to do that. Like, for example, if you've been trying to work on your physical health, there might have been some stuff going on with your body, like ailment wise, or maybe with fatigue, or like literally like you just can't move your body the way you want to. If you allow yourself to let go of whatever these things are, you might start to see improvement and more ease with being able to improve your health in that way. But yeah, I'm getting strong health on here. Saturn Pisces can also have an effect on health just because Pisces rules hospitalization and illness. So keep that in mind too with all this intense stuff going on. But there's something else here too. Well, that's pretty straightforward. The wisdom we gain from doing the work, right? The lessons we learn from doing the work. There's more. I can feel it. There's more though. It feels like there's also like a full circle just moment of reflection too that's coming from this. If you allow yourself to follow through with this, just literally being aware of how much you allowed yourself to be held back, how much you allowed yourself to just play out old things, how much you allowed yourself to not be fully happy, to not fully live the life that you want. We do have to make sacrifices and compromises, right? I mean, I know there's no such thing as perfection. 333, by the way. But there's always room for allowance, even if it's for the little things that can make us really happy, right? Like that special cup of coffee in the morning, or allowing ourselves to go to our favorite creek or mountain or hike or whatever once a week, like things like that. It doesn't always have to be such big, grandiose things. But there are a lot of ways where we can bring a lot of joy into our life, but we have to allow ourselves to do that. There's something else here too. There's also a sense of being stronger in our sense of grounding with this too, but that would come as a result of getting really deep in our bodies, right? And shaking off the crap. That would just come as a result of that. All right, let's go ahead and pull some other cards here. I'm going to use the Star Codes Astro Oracle. Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Robin. Hello. Oh, Monifa, hi. Oh, it's been a bit. How are you? Hope you're doing pretty good. Any other messages for the collective for this week? Yeah, dancing would probably be very beneficial for a lot of people this week. Just keep getting a lot of body movement. Oh, look, the North Node. Remember what I was saying with this? I'm like, I keep feeling the fire Aries energy here, and North Node is in Aries. So, of course, coming out with this, North Node being out here, it's very clear. I don't think I can really use any other words to describe it, but this is about making steps towards the new by allowing yourself to shake the old stuff off. Free yourself. Free yourself. I keep getting the body. Free the body. Some of us, it's also about freeing the body from trauma, right? Because the body always remembers. The body keeps the score. I think we're all familiar with that phrase, but that is why that's there. Can I get a card for Comfrey? I keep getting this feeling of just like, let go. Just let yourself be loose. Like literally the body's holding so much rigidity. That's just all this stuff. Can I get a card for Comfrey? I am also getting this let yourself be seen. I think that's the Leo energy coming through here. Yeah, there's some people who are going to resonate with this where there's just so much rigidity in the body because you've taught yourself to carry yourself a certain way, or you've taught yourself to like come off a certain way. That feels very deeply rooted to me, and you'll know who you are, how that applies. Can I get a card for Comfrey? I'm taking this, yeah. Debilitated. I feel like that came out recently. Might have been one of the sign readings I did yesterday, but yeah, again, getting rid of all of the stuff in the body, the energy, the emotions, all. Oh, Robin, thank you for the for the $5. Thank you. The debilitated energy, all of that energy that's creating that rigidity and like keeping us stuck, keeping us in the old, keeping us this way, keeping. Remember what I was saying about Mars Uranus, right? It's like it's gonna help us break out of how we've been keeping ourselves like this. Break out of it, because debilitated is a card that talks about how something just cannot function well, like how a celestial body cannot function in certain, not can't, but doesn't function as well as it can in certain signs versus others, right? Almost like certain conditions. Like, recognize what environments, what relationships, what lifestyle habits, what work environments, etc., allow you to flow and function better in a natural way, at your best way, versus ones that make you like this, right? I don't know why I'm feeling so much like irritation with that. So much irritation behind that. So much irritation behind that. Recognize what's keeping you not functioning at your best. Whether it's of your own making or it's something external to you that you have control over changing, right? hold on. We had another super chat come in here. Oh, Tiki Booyah, thank you for the $9.99. Hold on, we like that one. Thank you for being a consistent, authentic source in my life. Oh, you're welcome. And Clyde's over here taking his little nap. Let's see. I had to ask ADHD moment. Wait. Did I miss something? I don't know. Maybe I didn't miss anything. I don't know. I fear I'm lose everything will fall apart. I feel like the only one in my family holding things together. Well, I don't know the specifics of your situation, but sometimes there's a problem with that too, being the one that holds everything together. Like, are you the one that holds everything together because you've always operated that way and now people just expect you to do it? Or are you doing it literally because you are truly the only one capable? Or is it because you just think you're the only one capable? Like, sometimes that's a pattern. But again, I don't know your situation specifically, but I don't know, putting that out there for food for thought, But let's move on to elder, okay? And even if you hold a lot of responsibility, everyone has the right to give themselves a little space in their day or their week or their month for themselves. Like everybody has the right to that, Can I get a card for elder? Can I get a card for elder for this week? Interesting. Interesting we're talking about that, because I was gonna say it's also very like Capricorn trait to do something like that. So I was also gonna ask if you have any Cappy in your chart, but we had Capricorn. So there's a reason that comment caught my eye with elder. Capricorn is like kind of perfectly aligned with this energy. Capricorn rules the 10th house, right? Capricorn is all about building legacy. That's what Capricorn is about. Building legacy, protecting legacy, making sure that other people are taken care of materially, physically. Like Capricorn is about setting up material, physical stability for future generations. That's what Capricorn is truly about. That's why it rules governments, institutions. It's a future forward thinking energy. Yvonne, thank you for the $5. Thank you. Oh, I did something weird. I don't understand this feature. Oh no. What do I do? Hold on. I'm trying to fix something. My phone the thing took a picture of me, and I don't know why that happens or what I push that makes that happen. What if I just do that? Okay. So weird. Anyway, coming back. Distraction. Coming back with Capricorn and elder. Capricorn, like I said, is a sign that likes to cultivate, but it's a sign that also likes to accomplish and push things through, push things forward. Coming through with elder, this to me does feel like rising to the occasion. We have Ceres in Capricorn, but it's not really aspecting anything right now. Pluto will move in Tropic Western. Pluto will move back into Capricorn on September 1st. In Sidereal, it is already it's still in Capricorn. So just, putting that out there for those who follow Sidereal. But yeah, this to me feels like taking responsibility, taking accountability for the life that you want to have, for the experiences you want to have. And especially with whatever is being released here, whatever is being let go between these two. Hold on a second. Oh my God, I can't pick these up. Between these two, it feels like there's almost space for, how do I want to say? Yeah, there is. It's like there's more space to be the leader of your own life, or to be more authoritative in the decisions that you're making. With the stuff that we're letting go, that some of us are still letting go, there are going to be some lessons learned there. And that's for some, that's not for all, but especially with this world card energy. And it seems like those lessons are also just fuel in the tank for how you're just going to be taking charge of your life and your future. Remember, when we have North Node energy at play, which very prominent this week, it's all about the future. It's all about the future. It's all about the steps you're taking forward. Yeah. Trying to see if anything else is trying to come off of that. There's a readiness to, oh, thank you. Yeah, because some of you, what you're shaking off is fear, right? Again, it's like how we've been keeping ourselves like this. So I've been keeping ourselves like this, keeping ourselves like this. And with that being gone, it gives you allowance to be free of that stuff and free of that level of limitation and restriction. But it also gives you that allowance to step up. It gives you that allowance to do things that maybe you felt uncomfortable doing before, but now you feel ready because you're free of this other crap that's been holding you back. Yeah. It feels very empowering. I like it. It feels very empowering. Let's move on. I'm actually going to use beautiful creatures. Okay. So there's something I was starting to feel in relation to this like rigidity and what you've been holding on to that's been keeping you like this or keeping us like this. I did get this wave of anger. Some of you are actually angry at yourself is what was coming through, that you are feeling like this. And I feel like it's almost like levels of it, like levels of like, I'm stuck, and I don't like it. Or I want to do other things, and I don't like it. Or I want different, and I don't like it. And then realize it's almost like a transition of like awareness and becoming more aware that what you're really upset about or agitated by is the fact that you just keep doing it. Like you just keep allowing yourself to feel like this or doing things that make you feel like this. That's something that was coming through. Let's keep going. Gonna get a card for Metamorphosis and North Node. Let's see. Oh boy. Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands can come in a couple flavors. It has this flavor of resiliency and persistence, which actually Saturn working with the Sun and Pallas Athena in that Grand Water trine will help with. It can bring some patience and persistence and more dedication, but in ease with it in terms of matters of soul and heart, right? Or even spirituality. I'm feeling a little bit of that here, even though this is fire. But Nine of Wands can also represent being guarded. God, I feel the weight. I feel the weight. There's a lot to say here. Some of you may have been struggling with this feeling of like almost getting like having weights on you or anchors on you. Just feeling struggle. But why? Like, why have you been feeling the struggle? Is it actually something like tangible, like something that's out of your control? Or do you feel a struggle because this is just the belief system you keep perpetuating? Is it something that you do actually bestow on yourself or not? Some of you may come to terms with the fact that, oh, I make life harder for me than I need to, or life actually doesn't have to be so struggly. I just make choices that make it more struggly, or I make choices that don't nourish me, that don't make me feel good, or don't help my own sense of being, right? Some of you that's just bad habits, and some of you that's just patterns and ways of being that you just have become accustomed to or you learned along the way. But that's definitely what I'm getting for this Nine of Wands. Some of you may feel like there's almost like a final push that you need to go through. I feel like that's an illusion. I feel like what it is actually just learning to drop it. Let it go. That's what I feel like it actually is. Just learn to let it go. Learn to shake it off. Learn to shake it off. Oh, Robin, thank you. You did really nice of you to send me Hold on a second. Why isn't it letting me? There we go. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. Very sweet of you. Yeah, how much of this are you just like feeding yourself the programming of a Nine of Wands experience when all you gotta do is let it go? When all you have to do is let it go. See if anything else wants to come through on this. Some of you might be running like this kind of thought, belief, or program of what you want is always ahead of you. Like what you want is always there. It's always there. It's like it's never in the present. And that to me is just a shift of how you use your words and how you talk to yourself, right? If you're always putting your goals way ahead of you, like they're not in the present, then you're never going to get there, right? You're just going to forever be in a constant state of Nine of Wands, right? So I do think just a nice, like, solid practice of gratitude every once in a while can help with that. If y'all want to go hard and do a daily, do your thing. But I think just recognizing, just practicing some gratitude can really shift your perspective a lot with that. Okay, just being more present, right? Yeah, I'm getting this vibe of like a little bit of martyr energy. I'm hearing unfair, 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 unfair. Yeah, to be honest, I'm getting a little bit of victim energy, like woe is me. Again, I feel like that's a program, and I feel like that's not supportive at all. If that's how you're feeling, it's how you're feeling, no judgment. But just recognize if you are doing a little bit of victimization stuff, martyr stuff, maybe take a hard look at yourself as to what that's doing for you or not doing for you. Okay, let's move on. Ooh, it's an interesting wave of energy. I also get comfrey and debilitated. Pay attention to your thoughts. Hold on, before I pull any cards. It's amazing, like when we're not like connecting to ourselves, it's amazing how much we really miss of like what our bodies are telling us, what our emotions are telling us, what even our thoughts are telling us. I just had this feeling like there's actually a lot coming up, even in like the mental space of what is really desired, like what is truly nourishing and revitalizing and what really feels good. I'm hearing what is truly desired, but I feel like there's almost like an ignoring of it or hitting the snooze button on it or just trying to not even be like not even paying attention to it at all, like not like being distracted by other things or focusing on other things. Like I feel like there's a lot of just truth that's being missed because there's just a lack of tuning into self, being aware of self. Talking about comfrey with debilitated. Beautiful. Oh, dropped it. Temperance, Saggy energy. I love that Temperance is here. Temperance can be a card of healing. It's also a card of balance. It's a card of calm and soothing. And that's what I felt with the comfrey card. Like, like a bit of a sigh of relief, almost like there has been some sort of achievement in getting out of that, getting out of that Nine of Wands. And I do feel like it's by letting it go. Again, if you're practicing forgiveness, Temperance also alludes to that. Temperance of the world feels like a nice little bow, like putting a nice little bow on something that's done, right? Yeah. Yeah. Especially with the debilitated card, because remember that is alluding to this, like that energy that is just not doing anyone any favors. Oh, and keeping us out of our natural flow. Yeah. All right. That's all needs to be said there. Let's look at Elder and Capricorn. Let's see. Love it. Thank you. This has been an immensely healing talk. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Tell me about Elder and Capricorn for the collective for this week. I just felt like a very energy come forward. It was like it was like that. It was potent, very masculine, just like just very authoritative and firm. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. Tell me about Elder with Capricorn. Four of Wands, very nice. Very nice. We like it. Four of Wands is a card of stability for me. It can also speak to celebrations and things of that nature, gathering. Some people look at Four of Wands as a portal card, but like that firm energy that came forward, it was like, whoa. And that is what this is. This is definitely establishing stability, establishing foundations, making moves from a place where you're being more solid within yourself, and you also have this sense of authority, and you're also stepping into a version of yourself that you haven't allowed yourself to step into, or stepping into circumstances or making moves that you have felt uncomfortable doing. Almost like things that have made you insecure in the past, you're way more secure with them now, and just doing it. And just doing it. It's very, I am here. I am here and I am ready. I rise to the occasion. It is very much like that. It's almost, I want to say, too serious, to be honest. I almost want to say, like, where's the play? Where's the little bit of the play? Because that would be nice. That would be very nice. I don't even think there's really any need for some other cards here. Where are we at? Oh, just over an hour? Yeah, I think we're just gonna wrap it up there. I don't think there's a need to pull more cards. I think it's gonna start getting very circular, you know? But to paraphrase, shake off those stories. Shake off those stories. Stop repeating patterns and cycles that are just keeping you in a place of struggling, instead of being like more present in gratitude with what you have and what you're working with in the present. Allow yourself to be looser, allow yourself to be less rigid, a little bit more like wild and fun, and see what's going to happen as a result of that. I feel so much like fire, moving the body, creative energy with that. Definitely get out of martyr victimization stuff that's happening there. And as a result of that, as we shake things off and we let things go, there's a really nice, like, putting a bow on wrapping things up and completing things, and like a sigh of relief and a calm that's coming through. And also making choices of relationships, environments, patterns, lifestyle choices, even with like food and exercise, that actually are really good for you. Whatever your personal needs are, and whatever helps you to flow in a way where you can be wild in yourself and not so like this, right? And as we do that, suddenly what we have previously felt too insecure about, too held back by, or just disempowered by, we suddenly feel empowered to just go for it and do it and establish it and rise to the occasion. And that feels really good. Okay? That's it. I finally learned how to go easier on my body, be more selective of the orders I accept on DoorDash. I've been asking for more play. Yeah, you're coming out victorious. We got this, collective. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. And thank you for everybody who sent me super chats. I greatly appreciate that. I am gonna bounce. And like, I was gonna do more work today, but after this reading, I don't know. I feel like I need to, like, I don't know, woosah or something. I need a woosah. Yeah, I do. I think I do. I need a woosah. Get some rest, my dear. I will. Hopefully I sleep tonight. Not getting any sleep last night, I was just like, damn it. Like, damn it. But it happens. It happens. But have a great day and a great week. And for those looking for the sign readings, they are going to post. Oh shit, did I do? Oh no, I did. I did a timestamp for the collective reading. They're going to post throughout Tuesday and Thursday, and of course, Aloha Friday on Friday. And like I said, I made the changes on Patreon, so those are listed under the memberships. And for my patrons who haven't seen that, I'll make a post today about it. But I've been talking about it in every video, so I just kind of assumed the message was getting through. But just let you guys know, the first tier is still all live chats, and also full moon, new moon hangouts are still the vibe. The second tier is early access and ad-free, hold on, sorry, ad-free and early access for all YouTube videos that I post that are not YouTube lives. So anything that I'm posting for astrology talk, sign readings, channeled messages, anything like that, everyone on the second tier of Patreon will get early access and ad-free versions of that. And then the third tier is all the part twos for the sign readings. And as I am gearing up and getting prepared to do more astrology, like seminars, coursework, that sort of thing, I'll probably be doing like hangouts for the third tier in relation to that stuff. So I'm like trying to find my groove and trying to find my flow with how to go about doing that. And those will be for the third tier as well. So that is what's going on Patreon these days. And yeah, that's it. We got website, socials, you all already know that. But I'm gonna bounce. I love you guys so much. I'm a patron member first tier. Oh, well, thank you. Hi. Thank you for your support. Glad you're here. Thank you for sharing your gift. Yeah, and thank you guys for the support. I will see you guys later, okay? Take care. Bye.